Hello, everybody. I'm rough and ready today. Busy day, tons of meetings, so I'm going to make this pretty quick. So let's jump into the story, and it'll be less of me today, much more on the charts. But literally, a wall of money popped in yesterday, and that was to face off a wall of dumpage from Germany and others. And I'm going to break down kind of the latest from Mt. Gox, latest from Germany, and China, the other big government that's dumping, and we know about the US as well. So let's go. And disclaimer, not financial advice. Bitcoin has been resilient, pretty much where it was $1,000 higher than it was yesterday. Still down 8% for the month of July. But let's get into a little bit of news. Only a little bit of news today and a lot of charts. First of all, huge dump. And this is from Gabor. And what's interesting about this is despite the German government selling 17,000 Bitcoin in a single day, the price barely moved 2%. And according to Gabor, this is what a mature market looks like. If you understand. So this is really, really good news that the market can take so much. By the way, shout out to the mods in the chat. Thank you for coming too. And be kind but shrewd out there too. Second of all, this was from Wu Blockchain. And they talk about how the Chinese government has reportedly sold a large portion of the 190,000 Bitcoins that's reported for them to own, that they confiscated in the PlusToken scheme. Now, according to sources, including Wu Blockchain, these coins were actually sold late 2019 and mid-2020 when the Bitcoin price was about $7,000 to $12,000. I haven't checked all of the stuff yet, but apparently they had over 200,000 Bitcoin, and now they only have 15,000 left. So that is good news. So less dumpage on the horizon from China, but the Chinese, they probably regret not holding. Imagine since 2020, you had nearly 200,000 Bitcoin. You sold it between 7 and 12 grand. Well, that's on you. And Nick Carter, a little bit of news from him. One of the things, again, he chimes in on what is important to him, not to us, to him. He wants to end the crypto crackdown. That's what we call Choke Point 2.0 all last year. He doesn't like CBDCs. He likes the right to mine Bitcoin yourself, the right to self-custody, and the right to transact freely. By the way, in the community, we've got a lot of people who mine their own Bitcoin all over the world. So a lot of people still do it profitably. And another news that does impact crypto space, this from Eleanor Terrett, the House vote to overturn the POTUS veto of SAB 121 as we know it, will take place on Wednesday at 4 o'clock. That is tomorrow, and that's Eastern time. So we look forward to that too. Thank you, Bitcoin Maxi Mike. Let's get into the charts because that's where all the juice is. First of all, I did mention on DCA yesterday that it did appear that Bitcoin was undervalued right now. Well, this just came in from the Power Law team. The VPLI, which is the Volatility Adjusted Power Law Index, is now minus 3.57. This basically means, according to Power Law, if you believe in it, that Bitcoin is undervalued now from a long-term trend perspective. And as Mando said yesterday, it's a very good time to buy. And again, significantly below the fair value price. And a VPLI of minus 10 refers to market bottoms. So we're actually not that far from a so-called market bottom, if you could believe that. Anyway, this is what I did share yesterday from Look into Bitcoin. And it shows you how we are actually at $1,000 above fair market value right now today. And that ties in with the VPLI too. So again, I'm not telling you, but it's not a bad time to buy. But I'm going to look at some perspective in a second of exactly where we are. But first of all, if we look at the Bitcoin price performance post-halving, obviously I always talk about the 90 days post-halving. It's kind of flat to sideways to a little bit down sometimes. But so far, we are flat. We're down 3 months after the halving. And that period is up in a couple of days, so we'll watch for this carefully. What I like to do is create a simple little matrix, best charts or the simplest charts. The red line that's vertical is the halving date and where the price was. The price at the halving is about 62,500, approximately 63K. Then we never achieved a 73,800 all-time high. We never got back there yet. That all-time high was hit around March 8th or 9th of 2024. Then I had a floor in there, and that floor was at about $58,200, which we hit back at the very beginning of May. And then we recovered, and then we tanked. But again, all of this tankage breaking through that floor is because of the heavy selling by Germany. People need to realize that. When you're dumping 17,000 Bitcoin a day, that's a lot for the market to support. But as we discussed, as Gabor said, 2% dip from all this price. Now, what is interesting to me, we're nearly at the end of this 90-day period post-halving. Will we rebound? Yes. Will we break the all-time high? Yes. The question is when. But we did have some very impressive things happen in the last 24 hours. We'll dig into those as well. Now, back to Germany. I tweeted this last night, 17 hours ago. At the start of 2024, Germany had 52,000 Bitcoin in its possession. Their holdings are now down to 23,800. In fact, they even sold a little bit today, so it's even less than that. But they're down 39,800 Bitcoin. Okay, so far, and the market absorbed it. So two things that I took away from this. One, it's incredible how resilient Bitcoin price has been. That's the big story today. And the recovery starts now, is what I said yesterday, 17 hours ago. Let's look at the batch dump versus the price dump. So here is the German government batches that were sold. The heavy selling began around the 17th of this month. No, hang on a second. 17th of June is when the first early sales happened. But then they actually accelerated and started selling real hard. The most of the selling actually happened in the last 24 to 48 hours, and the price held up. So it does show that when the price gets low, it attracts buyers, and this is confluent with this, i.e., it's at fair value. When people see a $56,000, $55,000 Bitcoin, they say, okay, I'm stepping in, I'm getting some. And that offsets the actual selling by Germany. Now, the other thing we have to be afraid of is Mt. Gox dump. You can see here there is a lot moved as well. 47,000 Bitcoin were moved. This also rattled markets, but it rattled markets before. It's like the price dumped without any of this actually hitting the market. So according to Ki Jong-woo from CryptoQuant, he believes there's three possible reasons for the transfer. We're not sure which one is which. One, it's an internal transfer, changing wallets for security. Two, it's an OTC deal designed not to affect the market price, which is good news. Or three, they're using a brokerage service likely to be settled after selling, since it didn't flow through brokers, wallets, or exchanges. And additionally, about 1,500 Bitcoin went to Bitbank, but no surge in trading volume has occurred. And 1,500 Bitcoin is a very small amount. So again, don't freak out too much. I calculate this year, the Mt. Gox dump could be anywhere from 7,000 to 10,000 Bitcoin. The Bitcoin Cash will be sold, and people will probably convert that into Bitcoin or something else. And if it is OT selling, we're in the clear. So it will not affect market price. So this is nothing but good news. Again, no reason for alarm. And now that Germany is past the 50% tipping point, here we should be in the clear. Now, another point which is super interesting is the Puel multiple that we look at. It's actually part of our Tabby model as well. And as some people say, I think it was Dan Coin Investor said, an opportunity like this only comes once in a bull cycle. So this is the Puel multiple. You see the red ring of where we are right now. For it to be this low in a bull run is very rare. And it did fall significantly during the cycle in 2016. That's the first red ring. And 2020, that actually was C19, COVID-inspired dip right there. But we're pretty much at that C19 level from a Puel perspective. And what happens after these red dots hit? The price goes up. At least that's what history has told us. So we'll see if that happens again. And remember, we're still at a very high base. My target back in 2023 for the Bitcoin price at the halving was 42,000. Okay, we're at nearly 70,000 at that level. And we're still holding tight right now as I speak. Bitcoin is at 57.5 on the nose right now. So let's go look at two more charts. First of all, the miner block reward is at a 16-month low. This is not good for the miners. They are not making as much money. And as the price is down around this level, some miners are definitely getting hurt. I reckon a quarter of them are definitely underwater. The hash rate is coming down because miners are unplugging their rigs because they're not efficient or effective. And the huge story is this. Germany dumps and the US ETF stacked. They bought nearly $300 million of Bitcoin yesterday. So not only do retail investors see the value right now for Bitcoin price, but the ETFs see it too. So well done to those. And breaking news, just before I went live, Mr. 100 grabbed another hundo Bitcoin. And they bought it at around 56.4. So again, Mr. 100 is also still buying the dip. There'll be a Bitcoin only playlist at the end of this video. Let's get into what I call the black hole. This is day 123 raw numbers. Again, a very, very good day yesterday. 294.8 million. Let's call it 300 million. And the day before is 143.1 million. And the negative days that we had were smaller than these. So this is a positive. And what it looks like, we had the best day in 23 days. And remember, that's trading days. So that's about a month. So we had the best ETF inflow day in a month. And sometimes after a good day, it turns some heads and then people buy again on a second good day. So I do expect perhaps more positivity today as well when the market closes. And what $300 million in a day looks like, you can see it's the best day since day 100 in 23 days. And it would be the third best day going back to day 75. So not bad at all, but we need many consistent days to really bring this thing up. In terms of the number of Bitcoin taken from the system, a whopping 5,133 were taken from the system. That is nearly 11 times daily issuance, which is large. And remember as well, when you put things in perspective here, yeah, we had a couple of negative days 3 days ago and 4 days ago, but they were very slightly negative. And most of it's been kind of positive. And we did have that nasty period between day 103 and day 113, 115, something like that. So again, we're coming out of the woods, which is positive. And even more surprising, Grayscale had a $25 million day yesterday. Their fifth best inflow day ever, which makes me a little nervous because that means the hedge fund ETF carry trade could be back because they tend to use that vehicle for some of their positions as well. So maybe the hedge funds are coming back into this, playing the carry trade again, but we are wise to how they operate. So we'll be ready for next time so we can hedge. Fingers crossed. Thank you all for coming. I'll be back in about 2 or 3 hours with Okta. Again, busy day today. Sorry for going so fast, but I hope you enjoyed the show. See you soon. And thank you as well to Sean Donnelly and everybody else in the chat here as well. And I see Gail as well. OG Bitcoiner for a long time. Merci. See you later.